4 months pass since Corporals Kyle and Lancelot joined the Wolf Pack after their initial encounter in western Egypt, and the Allied forces have begun implementing a plan to reclaim North Africa. October 23rd marks the beginning of Britain's Operation Lightfoot. The campaign opens with the infantry of the 30th Corps breaking through Axis lines and clearing a route through the enemy's minefields. 5 miles long and wide enough for the 10th Armored Division's tanks to pass through. While Erwin Rommel, commander of the Afrika Corps, seeks medical treatment in Germany, his replacement, Georg Stumme, dies unexpectedly of a heart attack on October 24th. The Allies attempt to take advantage of this fortuitous turn of events and continue their attacks despite resistance from the German 15th Panzer Division. As the fighting continues, British General Bernard Montgomery launches the next phase of the plan, Operation Supercharge, on the morning of November 2nd. Despite the Germans' strong attempts at a counterattack, Montgomery's efforts prove successful, and the Allies are able to break through the Axis lines. Rommel returns to North Africa, but it is too late for him to repel the Allied assault. With the loss of 400 vehicles, he orders his men to withdraw to Tunisia. On the 8th of November, the Allies implement Operation Torch and land behind the Afrika Corps, cutting off their escape route. Meanwhile, the Wolf Pack, including its 2 newest members, is called to duty on an important mission.
All right, listen up, everyone. We've been authorized to strike. Tomorrow morning, we'll infiltrate the German headquarters located outside Tobruk. Our mission is to capture and detain a prominent German individual.
Who is it, sir?
A physicist named Werner Futtner.
What's a German physicist doing on the front lines?
According to SIS, Futtner came to North Africa to visit his old friend Rommel, but he ran into our counter-offensive and has been left stranded outside Tobruk.
And what's so important about this Futtner that we'd run the risk of infiltrating enemy territory to capture him?
Futtner is reportedly involved with Germany's weapons program. We need to acquire as much information from him as possible about the new weapon he's working on.
And what kind of weapon would that be?
A new type of bomb that, if fully developed, would have the power to wipe out an entire city.
An entire city? Is that even possible?
It appears so, which is all the more reason we cannot fail this mission. We must do whatever it takes to capture Futtner and learn what we can about this bomb. Is that understood?
Yes, sir.
Good. Now we'll be traveling by land. The operation will commence tomorrow morning at 0600. Pack your equipment and be back here in 15 minutes for briefing.
All right. We're finally going back to the front. I can't wait to get another piece of those damn Jerrys.
Yeah, it's about time, mate. Let's make 'em pay for London. Hey, if you tickets are done chatting, then I suggest you get your gear packed. If you're not ready on time, we'll leave you both behind. Yes, sir.
This is the village we'll be attacking. There's a German unit stationed here to look after Futtner. We'll enter from the south and make our way to the building where he's residing. They'll be outfitted with tanks and armoured vehicles, so be careful. And remember, we need Futtner alive. Do not destroy the building he's in. Okay, back to your posts, everyone. Is everyone ready? All right, let's move out.
Take down the tanks and the armored vehicles first. Aim for their sides.
Stop charging ahead! In this unit, we cover each other's backs and advance with caution.
This is it!
You're finished. You're finished.
You! you!
What is the meaning of this? Who are you people?
Lieutenant Colonel Gallant, British Special Forces. Professor, we'd like you to share some information with us about the bomb you're developing for the Nazis.
And what makes you think I'd share this information with you?
I think my lieutenant here might be able to persuade you. Keith?
Shooting an unarmed man, huh? I'm sorry. Your threats will not change my mind.
And unfortunately, I have no choice.
Fine. I'll tell you what you want to know, but only if I have your assurance that my life will be spared. And, I want your word that my family and I can take refuge in Britain. If the Nazis were to find out about this, they would kill us all.
Agreed. I'll advise the necessary authorities and personally guarantee the safety of you and your family. We'll make arrangements for safe passage and political asylum immediately. I can put it in writing if you'd like.
That will not be necessary, Lieutenant Colonel. I've heard much about British honor, and will take you at your word.
Thank you, Professor. Keith, lower your weapon.
Very well. Let me explain about the weapon we're producing. Are you familiar with the process of nuclear fission?
Yes, it's a phenomenon that occurs when an element such as uranium absorbs neutrons and splits into smaller nuclei.
Very good. In the 1930s, Otto Hahn and Fritz Strassmann discovered that splitting an atom releases neutrons and energy. A few 100 million electron volts of energy to be exact. This can cause another nucleus to split and release more neutrons and more energy, inducing a chain reaction. In other words, once the chain reaction begins, it produces an immense amount of energy, all within the blink of an eye.
I see. And with a big enough chain reaction, you can destroy an entire region almost instantly.
Precisely. My, your soldiers catch on fast. We were applying this process to make the most powerful weapon man has ever seen, the atomic bomb.
The atomic bomb?
It's an absolute secret, but we've been researching these bombs at the Kaiser Wilhelm Institute and the Max Planck Institute, both in Berlin. Hitler calls it the Copenhagen project, and we've been under strict military supervision. We developed a prototype of the bomb at a top-secret plant in Czechoslovakia last April, and the experiments we ran on it were quite successful.
So, is the bomb ready for deployment?
Oh no, not for a few more months. We're getting much closer, but the bomb is not yet ready for practical use. But I'm having reservations. A bomb of this magnitude, it could destroy a whole city. It could kill tens of thousands of people. It sends chills up my spine. But if we do not create this bomb, the fatherland will not survive this war. I don't know what to do. I traveled here to seek the advice of an old friend. I thought he might be able to help me decide what's best.
You're referring to Erwin Rommel, the Desert Fox.
Yes. Yes, that's correct. I'm impressed. Your intelligence network is exceptional.
Professor, I thank you for sharing this information with us. We'll escort you to our headquarters in Cairo, where our agents will have more questions for you.
Lieutenant Colonel, what should a man do when faced with these choices? I'm no murderer, but I vowed to serve my country.
Sometimes we don't know if we're making the right decision until we look back on it in hindsight. I can tell you, however, that by cooperating with us, you may be saving thousands of lives.
We can only hope.